Okay, here we are. It is Saturday, March 13th, 2021, and we're at the Landis Road parking area. You can see that we're, by the sign there, that we're in State Game Lands 280-95 is the marker. And after a long hiatus where we weren't able to hike because of the snow on these trails, we're going to get out today and do from mile 7 to mile 10 of the multi-purpose trail. And we're going to start here at Landis Road, walk down through the field. There's going to be a field road that we'll go through, and then we'll get to approximately mile 7 1/4. In one of our earlier videos, we went to mile 7 1/4. So we're going to start there today and go all the way over to mile marker 10, which is at the Spring Creek trailhead. So here we go. All right, this is the gate at the, what would this be? Probably like the south end of the Landis Road parking lot, or maybe the east end of the Landis Road parking lot. Big open field that goes across to where the trail joins up over there. We're not going to be going that way today, though. We're going down this way. We're going to walk down an old field road. Well, actually, this is part of Landis Road, and we're going to walk down to where it intersects with Sterner's Hill Road, right down the bottom of this hill. But then we're going to continue on down through a field road that'll take us down to where the trail, the multi-purpose trail, comes through at mile marker 7 1/4. We're trying a new setup today. Some of our earlier videos, excuse me, had a lot of wind noise. So we're trying a microphone with a windscreen on it, and we're also trying with the camera mounted on something called a gimbal, and the gimbal should steady the camera so that we don't get as much bounce when we're walking. I have it mounted to a chest harness, and hopefully that'll help alleviate some of the bouncing. We've walked down Landis Road, and now we're at the intersection of Landis Road and Sterner's Hill Road. If we were to turn right, it would take us down Sterner's Hill Road, what used to be just Sterner's Road, all the way down to the lake, the main part of the lake. And if we were to turn this way, we would go down Sterner's Hill Road, and it would take us down to the Spring Creek arm of the lake. And I keep saying Landis Road, but it's actually Highland Road. Sorry about that. And as you can see, here's an old gate abutment, I guess you would call it, that's left over. There apparently was a gate across the road here in the earlier days, and I know over in this stand of trees there was some old chicken wire and some chicken coops, so there must have been a farm very near here, if not right in this patch of woods. And as is the case throughout the trail system, we keep trying to point it out, you can see some remnants of concrete over there, so we know that there was something here. There was some sort of foundation here at some point, maybe an outbuilding for a farm. Who knows? We're still trying to find old photos of this area to try to figure out what was here before the lake was built. Here's a nice shot of the field road that leads from Highland Road down into the area of the trail that we're going to be getting on. Really nice open spaces down here. And at the bottom of this hill on the field road here, we're going to see a power control box, some sort of a control box for electricity, because there's a pipeline that runs through here, and there's electricity that runs back here to run some of the pumps for the pipeline. Occasionally you'll see them replacing some of those boxes as the boxes start to age a little bit. I think this one's pretty new. And here's an example. There's some markers here for the pipeline that comes through. It is a petroleum pipeline. And then over here is the electrical box that I was talking about. It's just kind of interesting. You're way out in the middle of nowhere here, and there's an electrical box right in the middle. But you can see that it goes underground. The sign here says Buckeye Partners, which happens to be a pipeline maintenance company, a pipeline construction company. Now we're at a place where the field road turns to the right, and we'll see that in a second. There we go. Turns to the right, goes down and joins up with the trail at a different spot. But today we're going to go straight down this field road into the woods, and we're almost there. We're almost at the multi-purpose trail, loop trail, whatever you want to call it. And again, we're going to be intersecting the trail around mile marker 7 1/4 and headed up to mile marker 10. Okay, here's where the field road enters the woods, and I don't know if you can see it on the camera here, but it's kind of chopped up here. And the reason it's chopped up is because they've been doing some brush cutting back here, and they apparently brought the equipment back through this area, and so it kind of disturbed things a little bit. But I can tell you from experience, this section of trail right here that we're on is an old field road that comes through the woods. And if you come through here in the dark of night or early in the morning, before the sun is up, it kind of feels like you're walking through the enchanted forest. So if you're weak of heart, I would say don't take this trail at night. During the day it's great, but at night it can be a little spooky. Okay, we've reached the trail system. This is the trail that we just came down from the field road, and this is the trail we're going to be going down to get to mile 10. And this trail that's straight in front of us here is what leads from mile marker 7 down to this intersection, which, as I said before, is right around mile marker 7 1/4. And this sign had fallen down, and a few weeks ago we stopped and stood it up. It's just one of the directional markers. And in one of our last videos, we showed that at this corner in the woods, there are some remnants of an old gate and an old stone foundation. Probably can't see it real well, but it's there. And so there was something at this corner, some sort of a structure buried in the woods here. Probably a farm, I guess. And we also found, years ago, we found some chicken wire up in the woods that seemed to indicate they may have had like a chicken pen or a duck pen or something. So we're going to continue down. This is a great section of trail. You can see it's a sunshiny day. A little bit cool today. I don't know, probably like high 30s, but it's supposed to be getting warmer this afternoon. So it's a great day for hiking here on the trails of Blue Marsh. Example, if you were riding a bicycle, and you can even see, I think you can probably see some of the horse prints on here. Some of these hills, you have to be a little bit careful as you come down, especially when they're washed out. You just have to be careful that you keep your footing and pay attention to the trail that you're walking, running, biking, or horseback riding on. But this is a really nice section of trail right here, somewhere between mile 7 and mile 8. Now, I think you should be able to see it. There's some ground cover here where the rangers and the people who take care of the trail, occasionally they'll come back and they'll put ground cover and stones down where it has a tendency to wash out, which goes a long way in keeping the trail system nice for all of us. You can probably see along the side here where there's trees that have been cut and rolled out of the way as they fell across the trail. They do a really nice job with it. Nice view of the woods here. You can see there's a great big gorge that we're looking up, and there's a creek at the bottom of it, in the bottom of it. And I can tell you that the deer and the other animals kind of like it in these gorges. They like to kind of run up and down the gorges. You can see here there's water running under the trail. I think you can see that one, maybe not. Let's point the camera down. There you go. You can see there's water running under the trail coming from up top here. I don't believe there's a drain pipe here, but at a lot of places on the trail you'll find drain pipes under the trail to keep it from washing out. Another one of my favorite kind of views on the trail. It just amazes me that these trails are available to us. And, you know, kind of feel like when you're out here on the trail, you're out in the wilderness, and in reality, you're only about a mile or two from roadways and houses and other structures. We're coming up on a bridge that I'm going to stop filming now, but I'll show you the bridge when we get a little closer. It's one that was built specifically to service the trail system. Here's the bridge I was talking about, and as with most of the bridges, you'll see that there's an area where you can go through with bicycles or horses, or I guess even if you're running and you don't want to go across the bridge. And they have signs here saying they don't want bicycles or horses to use this bridge. Really nice bridge built out of pressure treated lumber and filled in underneath with bags of concrete or cement, I guess. And here we go on the trail again, and you can see there's a nice little stream that runs alongside this trail. Another one of my favorite views, if you look off into the distance, and you can see this time of year without any leaves and foliage how beautiful the trail is. And I'm going to move over to the side here a little bit so you can see up the trail. Just a beautiful scenic trail, and off in the distance, don't know if you can see it, but off in the distance is the lake, and that's the Spring Creek arm of the lake. We're going to be coming up on that in just a minute or two. And off in the distance, you should be able to see the Spring Creek branch of the lake, and where we are happens to be what's known as a no-wake area, meaning your boats are not allowed to be going faster than idle speed back here. And the reason is they don't want the shoreline to erode. They also don't want fertilizers from some of the farm fields that are along the lake to wash down into the lake, which causes an overwhelming amount of algae growth. So there it is. Here's an example of the kind of things you'll find on the trail system. Old buckets that are deteriorating. Kind of makes you wonder what story they could tell if they could talk. And again, there's another view through the trees of the Spring Creek arm of the lake. Through the trees, you might be able to see a bass boat coming by. It's a white bass boat with a black outboard motor coming back in through the no wake area. Some pretty good fishing back in the Spring Creek branch. Really nice section of trail here. And the reason I'm filming this is to show you that on this particular hike today, we really haven't had much in the way of hills. This happens to be one section of the trail system where you can walk for a pretty good distance without hitting any really steep hills. There's a hill coming up here, I guess probably around mile marker 8 or a little after. It's a little bit steep, but nothing too crazy. If you can see it down the hill here, unfortunately I can't zoom with this camera, but if you can see it down the hill, there's the arm of of Spring Creek. And that boat just went back there, probably headed back to a cove in the back. And my wife just reminded me, we're probably the only ones that call it Catfish Cove. And it's at the end of Lamb's Mill Road. And there used to be a road running through there before the lake, Lamb's Mill. But we used to go back there and catch catfish that were sometimes 2 feet long, 20 inches, 24 inches. And they were steelhead cats. So I'm not sure if they're still back there or not, but in speaking with other fishermen, they said that year after year they've had the same experience back there. But if you're a catfish fisherman, that might not be a bad place to go. I'm filming right now for 2 reasons. Number one, this illustrates how the trail system kind of winds through the woods, and then you end up out here in an open field. And we won't be in this field for very long, an open field for very long, but it's there. There's a trail sign, trail direction sign. And the other reason I'm filming here is because the wind was blowing a little bit, and I kind of wanted to see if this microphone with the windscreen on it cuts that noise down a little bit, because it was really annoying in some of our previous videos. There we go. We're at mile marker 8 That means we have 2 miles to go to get back to our other car. And we're down at the bottom of the hill. You can see there's a trail marker sign here that points us in the right direction. Sometimes you have to be really careful because some of the trail marker signs are knocked down and you don't always know exactly where you're going. So the section of trail that we're on right now was once a road. The name of the road escapes me, but maybe by the time I publish this video, I can look it up and find out what the name of it was. It looks like it may have been an old asphalt road that disintegrated, or potentially was just a stone road, but I'm pretty sure it was an asphalt road that disintegrated. It's a really nice, makes for a really nice trail bed, I can tell you that. Nice view of the lake from the trail, and again, this is the Spring Creek branch. If you look straight ahead and you went down that arm of the lake over to and straight ahead of us, you would end up at Peacock Road. And if you turn this way and follow the lake, you'll end up at Lamb's Mill Road, and it'll be the intersection of Sleepy Hollow Road and Lamb's Mill Road. And now that I think about it, I think we're on Sleepy Hollow Road right now, and it was in fact an asphalt road at one time. Again, we're on Sleepy Hollow Road. If you look straight ahead, Sleepy Hollow Road used to go straight ahead of the direction we're walking. But now that the trail's cut, we're going to be going up into the woods here. And you might be able to see real soon, there's some dogs and a horseback rider coming. Good to see, 2 horseback riders. Hi, puppy dog, hi.
Get it.
Nice straight ahead trail here, and you can probably see the lake over there. We're straight ahead on the trail, and the sign that's coming up is just a directional sign, and you probably got a shot of the 2 horses back there. As I said, everybody's enjoying this weather. It's really nice to be able to get out, number 1 because of the pandemic, and number 2 because of all the snow we had. We just weren't able to hike on the trails while all that snow was down. Okay, I'm going to leave the trail for a second here and show you some of the things that we find really interesting. Number 1, there's a stone foundation right in front of me, down at the bottom here. And number 2, if we kind of find our way through the sticks here, more of a foundation here that you should be able to see down on the ground. And then all the way over here on the side is an old tire that was left behind. And it's kind of embedded at this point. It's embedded in the ground. But this is the kind of stuff that you find out here on the trail system, and it's always, I don't know, just kind of curious to know what it was. There's an old bottle. Let's see if I can stand that up. There we go. And a lot of times you'll find bottles and cans that were left behind after the area was bulldozed. Anyway, there's an old foundation. As we come up around the bend in the trail, we're going to be intersecting with Sterner's Hill Road, or Sterner's Road, and we'll be able to see where it went down to where the lake is now, and the rest of it is underwater, and it went over and connected up with Lamb's Road and Sleepy Hollow Road. And you can probably see it as we're walking up on it right now. I'll keep the camera on as we get up through here. And as we turn to the right, we'll see there's the lake, and this is where Sterner's Road used to go down into the lake. If we look over here, this is where the trail system was originally built, but there's an alternate trail that's been cut that's a little bit nicer and a little less steep and doesn't have as many tree roots. So we're going to go that way. We'll go up this way. So here's another good test of our windscreen on our mic. The wind is really blowing kind of gusty right now. So as we head down here, we changed our mind. Instead of heading right back up on the trail, we decided to come down here to the lake and show you what it looks like. The water level is typically lowered by about 5 feet in the wintertime to anticipate issues with flooding from the snowfall and so forth. And now you can see a cross section. There's looks like some loons. Yeah, it looks like loons. And then there's some Canadian geese. And the white one, I'm not sure if that's a snow geese. Kind of looks like a snow geese. Yeah. And you can hear the geese are making their presence known. You can see the old stone, the remnants of a stone bridge here. And I'm not going to walk in because I don't have waterproof boots on, but this must have been a bridge. In fact, it was. You should be able to see that. You can see the bridge ended, the bridge foundation ends right here and then picks up across the way over there. So this used to be where Stearns Hill Road came down, and then there's another bridge section straight ahead of us that you probably can't see real well, but we'll show that to you as we loop around to that section of the trail. Off in the distance you can see sort of a flat bottom bass boat. They're fishing along the shoreline back there. Should be a nice day for that, other than the fact that the wind's starting to kick up a little bit. It's supposed to get windy this afternoon and then die down again tonight. But these guys are having a good time back there fishing this time of year where it's warm enough. It's in March, and warm enough that you can catch some probably some largemouth and smallmouth bass. See a little bit of a cliff here where the hillside is cut away. I think that's a natural cut. I don't believe that's a man-made cut, so that must have been there years ago. And one other thing, you can see where the water level goes up to when it's up at its normal height. You can see the white section there that's typically underwater in the middle of the summer. Now we're walking back up Stearns Hill Road, and again, there's the original trail was cut down here at the bottom, but it got a little bit, I don't know, too many tree roots, and the hills were a little bit too steep for bicyclists and horses and so forth. So there was another trail that was cut. But since we're hiking today, changed our minds. I think we're just going to take this section of the trail because it's going to meet up with the new cut up on the top anyway. So we'll head up this way, and you can see got some tree roots and a little bit of a hill to go up. But if you can see it here, got some bicycle tread tires on, or tread marks on here. So somebody was brave enough to come down through the roots. Clear. Another view of Catfish Cove, as we call it, and of a kind of a valley that goes down to the lake. We had a malfunction with the camera control back here, so we're filming by hand now. And this is where the new trail that I referenced earlier joins up with the one that we're on. And we're going to be headed down this way. Get up to the top of the hill, we will see a control box for a petroleum pipeline that cuts across the lake here. You should be able to see here there's a pipeline control post. Not sure what it is. take a look at it. Yeah, some kind of control box. It's oh, it's called a test station. So I imagine when they need to test occasionally, you might be able to see the yellow markers up there for where the pipeline goes through, and then it goes through and runs up the other side of the lake. Coming up around the corner of Catfish Cove. Got a bicyclist coming towards us and hikers coming behind us. Hi.
Hello.
Headed back down the hill on the trail, and we've been looping around the lake. You can see that we've looped around what we call Catfish Cove. When the water level is up, there are basically two islands back here. One of them that you can see is rather exposed, and there's another smaller island in the back that it's pretty shallow back here. Great place for kayaks, but not so good for boats because it's really shallow. Another view of Catfish Cove. And, you know, as you can see, as we head down here, you got to be a little bit careful on some of these hills, particularly if it's wet or snowy or icy. We're going to come up on a footbridge down here in the bottom. There's a trail directional sign, and then here's a footbridge that's not in the greatest shape. So we're going to have to kind of tread lightly across here. There we go. A little muddy here. Try to find a path over here that's not quite as muddy. I'm on the trail now, and we're going to head over to Catfish Cove and see what it looks like down here by the water's edge. As we mentioned earlier, the water level is down by about 5 feet. They take it down by about 5 feet every year. And so you can see there's a lot of surfaces that you wouldn't normally be able to see because they would be underwater. Straight ahead is one of the islands I talked about. Here's another one of the islands. And then off in the distance beyond the island, you can see a really exposed bridge that used to allow this particular road that we're on to cross over the water. And then Lamb's Mill Road would travel up through the woods there. And when it came down to the bottom of the hill, it would head straight across and connect up with Sterner's Hill Road, which is kind of on the loop where we just came from. Okay, we're headed back up from Catfish Cove now, and we're going to be joining up with Sleepy Hollow Road. And I think this is Sleepy Hollow Road that we're on right now. This is the continuation of it, and it used to go through where the lake is now. So we're going to head up Sleepy Hollow Road, and we got about another, probably mile and a half to get back to our car, which is at mile marker 10. By my estimation, we're probably, well, we might be closer to mile marker 9 by now, so maybe it's only about a mile. So as we head up Sterner's Hill Road, Sleepy Hollow Road, this is probably the steepest hill we're going to climb. When we get to the top of it, we're going to see an old gate that I guess was used to keep people out of a farm or something. I don't know, some kind of security. Anyway, we'll get a picture of it when we get up there. And here we are at mile marker 9. So we only have 1 mile to go. And there it is. Mile marker 9. And you look here, you can see a really old-fashioned guardrail with the turn bolt. And you can probably see there's a pretty nasty hill here. So back in the old days, I don't think you wanted to go down that embankment. Now here's some old guardrail, the cable that used to be used for guardrail, and it's still stuck in there. And then here's the gate post that I referred to earlier. You can see there's a gate post there, and this is where they rested the gate when it was open. And then over here is the actual gate post itself. You can see this side is where the gate was on, and the other side is where the gate rested. And we got some horses coming towards us here on Sleepy Hollow Road.
Hi.
Hi. Feels good to be able to get out.
Oh, no kidding.
And out from the snow too. Hi. All right, we made it to the top of the hill on Sleepy Hollow Road. You can see the lake down below us there. You can see the old guardrails, and pretty soon you're going to be able to see a little tributary, if you want to call it that, that comes down, feeds into the Spring Creek arm of the lake. Good place to go with kayaks in the summertime when the water level's up a little bit. Nice little protected area to get out of the heat. Kayak up that way in between the trees. And this is apparently where the guardrail ended. Here's the other turnbuckle. So it looks like they had the guardrail up on top of the hill here because the bank was so steep, the embankment was so steep. And I'm thinking that down this way they figured there were enough trees that they would serve as natural guardrails. But I still wouldn't want to go down that hill. That's a pretty sharp drop down there. Let's get a shot of us coming down the hill, because when we get down to the bottom of the hill, there's going to be an intersection with, let's see, that would be Landis Road. So for those of you who have maps, you want to look it up, you should be able to find the intersection of Sleepy Hollow Road and Landis Road. And here's a street sign for us. You can see it. It says Landis Road. And then on this side, the road that we're on is Sleepy Hollow Road. I believe that these signs were put up when the trail system was developed, when the lake was first built. And also of interest, down at the bottom of the hill here is another gate post. That's where the gate would have rested when it was closed. And then there's the post on the other side where the gate would have been fastened. And if you look down here just a little bit, you can see this is where the gate would have rested when the gate was open. So I'm not sure. I'd really like to find some history on the area and find out why it was gated on both ends like that. There's an old culvert where there was a drain pipe under the road. We're not sure what it was, but we're pretty sure there was some sort of structure back here, because this is sort of like a little side road to Sleepy Hollow Road. And as we get down here, you can see, first of all, there's the road that continues around there. Secondly, there's a great big hollow section here, hollowed out. So I'm not sure what that would have been, but we're pretty sure there was something back here, some sort of a building or a structure of some sort. It's really buried under the leaves, but you might be able to see it. There's some sort of an old foundation here. We get over to the side here, you can see it even a little better, but it's all covered up with leaves. So I'm not sure, it was either a stone wall or some sort of foundation, and there's a little bit more of it. Really hard to see. I'd almost have to dig the leaves away for you to see it better. And then as we turn up the road here, there's a stone wall off to the side here, and it was over here. And the stone wall was because there's a drain pipe that lets the water flow under Sleepy Hollow Road. Yeah, good point. It's on both sides. It's over here, and it's over here where we showed you before. And of note here is this is a water crossing for horses and bicyclists, mostly for horses that don't want to follow the trail loop. They could go right across the water here. You can see the path going down here. I believe that was an old field road, but interestingly, I don't think there was any bridge across the river. So anyway, that's a horse crossing. So this is a really interesting situation. We were up here a few weeks ago, and this tree hadn't fallen down across the road at that point. So you can see how the tree just completely shattered because it was dead. So rangers are going to have their work cut out for them. They need some pretty big chainsaws to get this out of the way. We're going to find our way through here. There we go. You can see just kind of uprooted that big old tree. We're up at the top of the hill now on Sleepy Hollow Road, and down below us you can see the stream, which is Spring Creek. We're going to continue up here, and we are at the intersection right now of Sleepy Hollow Road and Justa Road. You can see Justa Road sign here in just a minute. Well, not a minute. And there's the Justa Road sign. You would turn left. Nice parking lot up on Justa Road as well. And hi. And the Sleepy Hollow Road sign. Feels good to get out, doesn't it? Thanks, you too.
Thank you.
And there's an old foundation. Some sort of a cornerstone. Don't know if it was a building or just a, I don't know. I doubt that it was a gate of some sort. Probably a building. And we're going to continue down Sleepy Hollow Road. We're really getting to the end of the hike today. Getting close to the car that we dropped off. This hike today was one of those hikes where we dropped a car at one place and then drove to another spot to start the hike. And I'm just going to go over here and get a shot of this closed-in pond over here. You can probably hear the frogs, and there's usually a lot of turtles in here as well. Turtles are usually out on the log sunning themselves, but I don't see them now. Anyway, this water can get really stagnant sometimes, but right now it's nice and fresh because of the snowfall recently. Now we're down at the bottom of the hill after the intersection of Justa Road and Sleepy Hollow Road. We're on Sleepy Hollow right now. As we come up around the turn here, you'll be able to see that Sleepy Hollow still runs out to the intersection, to its intersection with Brownsville Road, but the trail system cuts off to the right, and we're going to take that. We're going to take the trail system to the right. You'll see it as we get up around the corner here. So we're still on Sleepy Hollow Road, and you can see these two little posts here. Must have been some sort of a gate that was up there years ago, leading off into a trail off to the side. Never been over there, but we'll try it someday. And then up here you can see the yellow gate that is usually closed because they don't want anybody inadvertently driving in from Brownsville Road and staying on this road. But for some reason it's open today. So what we're going to do today is we're going to head down this trail just a piece ways, and there will be a path that goes up through the field. This is the actual trail system. There's a path that's going to go up through the field and take us back to the parking lot where our car is. This section of trail is at the end of our hike today. But boy, it's one of my favorite sections because there's so much history back here. And we're going to cover this in the next hike that we do when we go from mile 10 up to mile 14. But off to my right, and especially a little farther up the trail, you'll see old foundations for old bungalows and summer houses that people had along Spring Creek over here. So this is a really nice section. Divert off the trail system now, but straight ahead is a footbridge that when we start our hike the next time to go from mile 10 up to mile 14, we'll be crossing that footbridge. But for now, we're going to go up a path through the field that's going to take us back to the parking lot in our car. So we walked up this path that comes up through the field. It's been cut through here. I guess after so many years, people were taking it as a shortcut. And now we're up on a field road that'll take us back out to the parking lot. Okay, we made it. We made it from mile 7 to mile 10. And I'm going to get a shot of the bulletin board when we get down here in the parking lot to show you where we parked, right off of Brownsville Road. So here we are at the Spring Creek parking lot, and it is located right off of Brownsville Road. Maybe we can get you an address when we post this video. Interesting story about this parking lot. We live about 2 miles from here, and one time about 5 or 6 years ago, we had a skunk living under our front porch, and I trapped him in a live trap, and I released him successfully, and he went right back under the stoop, under the front door stoop again. So I trapped him again. This time we put him on a trailer, covered it up with a cover, and brought him over here to the Spring Creek parking lot. And right up there where the hiking trail sign is, I carefully released him and backed away. However, the blanket got stuck on the corner of the crate, and I didn't want to shake it too much. So I opened up the crate to let him out, and I backed carefully into the parking lot. And instead of going up into nature and up into the field and up by that tree line, he headed straight for me. And I backed up very carefully and very slowly so that I wouldn't alarm him. And about 15 or 20 seconds later, he decided he didn't like the parking lot. He wanted to go up in the field. And so I'm assuming that he's still living up there today. That was 5 or 6 years ago.